practice tip of the day.
Another tip would be have a plan, right? Obviously, you're limited on time. That's the whole point, right? You can't practice because you don't have enough time. So what time you do have, make the most of it. So before you ever sit down to practice or to just play, have an idea of what you're going to do. It's important to have goals too. That's another one. Have goals. But to reach those goals, you got to have a plan, okay? So before you even sit down, all right, schedule practice. So you know it's a date with the guitar or your drums. All right? Now, when you get to the date, have an idea of what you're going to do. Already know ahead of time what you're going to do so you don't sit down, grab your instrument, and then kind of end up fiddling around for a few minutes trying to figure out what you want to do. If you're working on a song, you have a couple of songs you want to learn, write it down. I'm going to work on this song for however long. All right? Then if you're working on technique stuff like scales, arpeggios, have that written down. I'm going to work on my scale starting on G major. Right? Go through all my 7 modes of the G major scale. Or work on pentatonic scales. Like, have it written down. So when you sit down, grab your little notebook, put it in front of you, boom, you're ready to go. Work on your song for 5 or 10 minutes. Work on your scales for 5 or 10 minutes. If you're working on chords, review chords. Review the ones you know. And then maybe a few minutes working on new ones. You can find chords anywhere. There's a ton of information. It's just organizing it in the right direction and getting started. So, step number 1, schedule a practice time. Make it important to you. If it's important, make it important. Schedule a time. Write it down. Step number 2, before you ever get to your practice time, have a written idea of what you're going to work on. All right? So plan ahead, know exactly what you're going to work on, so your very limited, precious practice time, you don't waste half of it just goofing off on stuff that you already know how to play, and then you maybe played, but you didn't really make any progress. So have an eye on progress, okay?
Yeah, practice!